Stage 3 is often the most difficult of the race as riders' bodies try and keep up with the race recovery rest routine after 3 hard days. The trail up the loose, rocky waterfall climb ensured that those who'd got the recipe right made the front group. And they included Dolomiti Superbike, Tim Bulls and Alban Lakato, Topi Gergen, his partner Heineck lagging off the back. The long drag through the farmlands at the base of Lammitberg saw the leaders regroup, and by the time they reached the historic Bainskloof Pass, it was anyone's race. The yellow jersey wearers, Karl Platt and Urs Huber, set about adding to their overall advantage on the steep inclines of the Velvenpass trails on the low slopes of the Ibiqua Mountains. Having spent 3 weeks training in the region in January, the Bulls used their knowledge of the trail to set up the final run into Wellington. Only Centurion Voda and Topi Gergen were able to stay with him as they swept in and out of the forests and up and down the wondrous handcrafted trails. And they gradually opened a gap to the chasers. On a dusty descent, Topi Gergen's Heineck crashed hard, injuring his left elbow and ribs. Nicola Rohrbach and Matthias Frommer settled for second as the Bulls charged for home, crossing the line after just 4.5 hours racing.
One of these dusty downhills when you don't see anything at all, and there were quite a big bumps, I just didn't see it at all and hit it in a full speed, so I just went over the handlebar and landed on my elbow and ribs, and what to say? I mean, stupid crash.
The separate start time for the Sassel women's race delivered a thrilling 5-hour duel as the top 4 teams, leaders Spur Specialized, Ascendus Health, Topi Gergen and Sport for Good, went toe-to-toe for stage honours. It was only decided inside the last 5 kilometres where Jenny Stennehaag of Ascendus Health began suffering and Sport for Good dropped back, leaving Topi and Spur Specialized to fight it out. The flat-out power of Annika Langville and Ariane Kleinans proved decisive, and they surged 30 seconds clear to take their second stage win in a row. Swede Stennehaag collapsed in exhaustion, having finished third with Robin de Groot. Thankfully, she made a good recovery, but may not start stage 4. Platt and Huber added 2 minutes to their overall lead, but Topi are just 2 minutes and 9 seconds behind Centurion Voda by Mirandal. Spurs Specialized have a 4 minutes and 28 second lead over Ascendus Health. Topi just under 3 minutes further back.
Yeah, what can I say? We're just happy. We won 3 stages, we won the prologue. Yesterday we had bad luck, but otherwise it would look like we are cannibals, and so now we are really happy.
Urs, I asked you the question this morning. It's obviously too early to start saying, I mean, Cole's going to for what will be a record equaling 5th win. You're looking for win number 1. It's too early to start thinking that way, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure it's too early. It's still 4 days to go, so it means we have half time now. So still a lot of things can happen, but as we showed last days, we are prepared for the next 4 days, and hopefully we have no bad luck.
Listen, Carl, you're known as Mr. Full Gas. You say that's the only way you're going to go ever. It's been full gas for 4 days. You've got a 9-minute lead now. Is it still going to be full gas for the next 4 days?
No, you have to look day by day and also decide in the morning how you feel, and if you see a chance to make a gap or to win a stage or to have a good result, you take it by the horns. But but there are still some teams are hungry for the next days, and we will see how it goes, because we have a comfortable lead now of 9 minutes, and we really have to decide from day today how deep we must go.
It's your race to lose now, basically, and you've been in enough Absa Cape Epics to know it can change in a second. You have a bad accident. Does that weigh on your mind? You know, when you're riding along, you've always said when you ride at the front, you've got to have big kahunas to stay there. I mean,
yeah, for sure. It's always something is always going through your mind while you're cycling, but it's also kind of to be professional, to switch everything off, like all your minds, and then just concentrate on the race and just look how's the course like, and watch from corner to corner. Be really concentrated. So I'd also sometimes. In the race when I was unconcentrated, I was thinking about other stuff, and then I said to myself, hey, now you have to look for the race again.
Urs, tomorrow the stage got a lot of technical downhill again. It's going to suit the cross country riders. You said to me today was a bull stage. You guys were looking forward to it. Cole was laughing on the downhills. You must have been having fun as well.
Yes, for sure. Today was really nice, especially the last 30 kilometers, which we know very well. And I think tomorrow could be a bit like today, because also the tomorrow stage we know very well.
How much communication goes on between the bulls on a race, on average? I'm curious. How much do you guys communicate to one another, and what kind of things would you talk about?
Actually, we don't communicate that much. We're not talking because if you start talking in the race, it shows you also a little bit of. For myself, I think it's weakness if you talk. So you must interpret the body language of the other guy. So I know exactly when Urs is feeling very well or he's feeling bad, and then I react on the body language without talking.
Okay.
Your backup team, Simon and Tim, have been magnificent. Their form is great as well. Does that give you that sense of comfort knowing that they're right behind you, literally, if something should go wrong?
Yeah, it's always good to have them around. I mean, when you're in the race and you see the guys riding behind you, or like today, they were also pushing a lot, doing a lot of work in front because no one else wanted to do some work. And normally we also don't need to do any work because they must attack us. But it's kind of a leadership also that we say, okay, we do the work, and I was really happy that Simon did and Tim also did lots of work.
Urs, yesterday you had a puncher. That was the story of the day that dropped you guys, and in fact we're going to go to some footage now on screen. We're going to be seeing footage of your puncher yesterday. Just talk us through, it must have been really disappointing for you.
Yes, it was a crazy situation. I hit a stone earlier in the descent and I was thinking, oh shit, but no problem. But then after I felt, the back wheel is really soft, and then I told Carl, hey, we have to stop, and then we checked what the problem was. We tried to plug it, but it was the rim that was broken a little bit, and then we had to put a tube in it. And in the race you're really nervous, and it was not an easy situation, but I think we made it not bad.
Okay, well there we see you getting off the bike, and for the viewers that are watching, Stefan Zahm, Samurai, following on that amazing technology on the e-bike, and you've got to be watching these broadcasts just to see. I mean, the getting inside the action from there is amazing to see. It just puts a whole new spin on the Absa Cape Epic. Paul, you'd agree with that, obviously, eh?
No, I think it's an amazing innovation, first time in the world. I've got to ask you, there's your ex-partner on this e-bike filming you. Did that make you more nervous fixing the puncher?
A little bit, yes, because he was watching like he was completely nervous, like watching back, and where are the other riders, and I could see like the frustration in his eyes. No, but like I said yesterday, you have to switch to a mechanic and think like a mechanic, so just then you are not in the race anymore, and fix the puncture as fast as possible.
Is that transition easy to make from racing to breaking the momentum to getting back on and racing again?
No, sometimes it's easy. So yesterday it was quite easy because we were in a comfortable lead and the guys were behind. But if you're chasing and you really watch for seconds, then it's not so easy to switch. Then you want to do everything faster, and if you start panicking, everything goes wrong.
It's something that's physically you're all strong at the moment, but mentally when you go through low patches, how do you react and how do you get yourself out of that situation? Is that when a team member comes in to help you, and how do you do that? I mean, because there are times when you feel like a god, and there's other times when you feel like somebody's been stamping on you.
Yeah, I must say this year it's not so difficult because we are really strong, but when you have bad moments, it's always good to have a strong partner which could help you and also motivate you and show, hey, I'm strong and I can help you, and that makes it more easier.
Have you ever cried on the bike?
Can't remember. Maybe.
Carl, can you tell us
Inside.
something? Can you tell us something about Urs that we don't know? And Urs, can you tell us something about Carl that we don't know?
Oof. Many things. I don't know if I can tell that now.
This is fun. Nobody's watching this. It's fine. Carry on.
Back to something more serious. I'm also curious to know if you take, and hopefully you headed for that 5th win. What is your long-term future for the Epic? Do you have something in mind to say, well, I want to ride until this point? Obviously, that a 5th win will change that outlook for you.
Honestly, I signed 3 years with Bulls now, and so I want to ride the Epic 2 times more for sure. And then after that, I'm 40, and then I have to decide what I'm doing. I mean, to win the Epic 5 times, it is awesome. But if it's not happening, that's life. And but for sure, I'm coming back next year and the year after, and it looks like in the moment I'm super motivated, and the training, everything goes really well, because also I know probably these are my last 3 years, and then you appreciate everything a bit more, and okay, you want to enjoy and you want to give everything in your last 3 years.
Okay. And about your training, a lot of people have been saying you guys are looking fitter this year than you've looked for a long time. Your preparations leading into this 2016 Absa Cape Epic, did you differ it? Was there anything different?
It's crazy sometimes, because the more you are relaxed in training, the more success you get. So I see, like with many young riders, when they start cramping and doing everything like 200% right, then after a time they burn out. And I also experienced that on myself. And probably this year I'm super relaxed. I was never worried about anything, and I just went out and trained what I've learned over my past years, and it is working.
Urs, talking about your training, last year there was some stories that possibly you might have, or some thoughts that you might have overtrained and put too much effort in. Would you agree with that? And did you alter your approach to 2016?
Yeah, for sure. I made some mistakes the year before, but I learned a lot out of them, and as Carl said, also on my side I was more relaxed this winter, trained every day, but not thinking too much about the next months and or the Cape Epic. Just have fun in the training, and I think that's the best way.
I've got to ask a question. During the Epic, you go through all your recovery, etc. But what do you do in the evenings? I mean, do you have a glass of wine? Do you drink a beer?
Only one. No. So I spent a lot of time here in South Africa and became to a routine like having sometimes some glasses of wine, and so we don't want to change the routine.
And on that note, I'm getting a little voice in my ear telling me that your glasses of wine are waiting in the Bulls trailer. Guys, it's been fantastic talking to you. Thanks very much for joining us. And
thank you very much.
Good luck tomorrow. Good luck for the rest of the Absa Cape Epic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There we go. That was Carl Platt and Urs Huber, the men who are leading overall in the GC stage winners today. Time now to go to the Dimension Data Analytics, a fantastic little feature, and we're going to put up on screen now the position movement today on stage 3 for some of the top teams. And there you see the movement. The two things that stand out for me, or a few things. These are the water point positions, Paul. The Bulls leading really throughout. Very, very consistent performance from the Bulls. We can see the blue line. Centurion Vade past Toe Peak at 90 kilometers. You can see that clearly on the graphics, and that was the point at 90 k's. It was around that point that Christian Heineck took his little flight over the bars. Really unlucky for them. That stands out. And also another interesting point, you can see a massive drop off for Toe Peak Ergon 2. Eric Kleinans, they were with the leaders right up until water point 2, and then they dropped right off the pace from water point 2. So these are just some of the little gems of data that are coming out from Dimension Data, and that are coming our way every day. Right, time now for the Rider's Eye View. Sarah Haig, our media and communications lady at the Absa Cape Epic, has been taking us to look inside some of the areas in the background. And today, Sarah goes to the Play Rider Bag Pickup. Let's take a look at what happens in that area.
Hi, welcome to the Rider's Eye View. So we're halfway through the race on stage 3 and we've moved towns from Sarensburg and Tilbach to the Cape Peninsula University of Technology in Wellington. So while the riders are cycling today's stage, the crew are moving the race village, and that includes a big truck full of rider bags. And the baggies behind me have loaded and offloaded about 40 tons worth of luggage. So I've just bumped into Scott at the rider bag checkout. I met Scott at registration on Saturday, and Scott told us that he rode the race 10 years ago. Scott, how has the whole bag checkout process changed since then?
It's much slicker now. Just turn up now, they found my bag within 2 seconds, there's my bag, and off I go. It's great.
Cool. And how was their day today? I heard that it was awesome out there.
Oh yeah, some absolutely fantastic trails. You know, made up for all the climbing that we did upwards. All the sort of sweeping switchback, single track, come back down. It was really, really good.
So I'm standing here with Vincent, who's coordinating this whole operation here. Vincent, do you mind telling me how the whole process works? I know you packed the bags in this morning. How do they get checked in and what's going on?
Well, as a bag, it's our responsibility to make sure that the baggage of the riders is taken care of. Early in the morning, 5 o'clock, they're checking their bags. We take their bags and we obviously pack them in the trailer, bring them over, and then when we get here, we have to pitch our tent and then take them all out and then arrange them in order. And normally we put them two, if it is 94, 94, 194, 2, so that when the riders eventually come, they are tired, they don't want to waste much time. When they shout their number, we just get their bag and then give them. So as we speak, a few of them are trickling in, and obviously by the end of the day, we have handed in all the bags that we'll have collected in the morning.
That's awesome, thanks so much. And you have a break tomorrow because we're not moving race villages. What are you doing tomorrow?
Well, when we know that we're not moving, we're happy, but we do the squeezing of the ditto obviously, and we help the water points and other activities that will be happening around.
Okay, cool. Thanks for chatting to us.
Thank you.
Well, that wraps up our Rider's Eye View for today. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks very much for that, Sarah. And time now for Tech Talk. You might remember our first show on the prologue. We chatted to Ollie Munich, the editor of Bicycling Magazine. And today on our Tech Talk, we're going to be with Neil Gardner. Neil's a brand ambassador for Swift and also a race commentator. Neil, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much, Jeff, and thanks, Paul. We have something to introduce today, which is really interesting because this bike has a really strong South African connection in that, firstly, the Swift Carbon brand was founded by Mark Blurt. I believe you're familiar with Mark.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with the man.
He's a South African. And also the fact that these wheels are in fact made in South Africa. They're Handgemaak, as it says in the slogan. They're made by South Industries, and this bike has actually been made specially and custom painted for a South African rider, Adrian Lowe. And Adrian Lowe is an industrial engineer, trained industrial engineer, and he helped us develop this bike. And it was in fact developed specifically for this race. It's a stage race, obviously, a particularly difficult stage race, and with that, pretty much the staple diet for any stage race is a full suspension mountain bike with 29-inch wheels. And typically short travel because the climbs are pretty steep and obviously very hard and very fast. And another major part of this race is that it gets pretty hot, so hydration is really critical, and the designer of the kinematics made sure that the bike or the frame was able to carry 2 bottles within the main triangle. That's really important and sometimes far better than having it on the back of the seat post because the center of gravity is really low, so it affects the handling of the bike if you've got an extra kilo at the top rather than right here down bottom in the frame. The other major thing that we had to consider was the fact that there are lots of rocks in the Cape Epic flying up, and this is a bash guard. It's a carbon fiber bash guard. It weighs about 100 grams, and it protects the fragile carbon fiber from any kind of rock strikes. And it actually has a dual purpose in that it houses the cables. We've got full cable housing all the way through to avoid any dust getting into the cables and contaminating them. And it's a very easy thing for the mechanics who sometimes at the race have 5, 10, sometimes even 15 bikes to service, and it's a really useful thing for them just to be able to screw off the bash guard, put in a cable, screw it back on again, and done. and the service is complete. The other thing, in a race like this, there's a bit of chaos in the pits, and everything is pretty much standard. The standard bearings available, you can buy the shock off the shelf, so it's really easy to replace and repair if anything does actually go wrong with it.
Neil, we asked Ollie the same question. In your opinion, can you see any big changes in mountain biking? I mean, there's been a massive amount of changes in the 13 years, but going to the future, do you see any huge changes coming up?
I think the changes, Jeff, could be more incremental at this point. We've already gone to the 29-inch wheels. The travel has been played with a little bit, and there may be some minor tweaks. Certainly think that the tyres, there's been a lot of new technology with the tyres. They're using different materials such as graphene, which improves the rolling resistance, maybe some puncture resistance too. And yeah, as I said, incremental improvements, and every year there's something new. There's new slightly differently designed linkages and so on. So we keep up with the times every year and try to keep as up to date as we can.
Neil, there's another thing. It's like a timeless argument, weight of a bike. But it's not really about the weight anymore. It's about how the bike rides, isn't it?
Well, we had Carl Platten here earlier with Urs Huber, and he's an absolute veteran of the race. He's finished 12. The only one he didn't finish is because of his body, not his bike. And they elect specifically to ride reliable equipment rather than light equipment. We've seen riders riding light equipment, and it always cost them. We've seen riders, in fact, leading riders, very well-known riders, who ride light tyres, for instance. Inevitably, they have punctures. We've seen brake frames. It's just one of those things. Reliability is everything. The Absa Cape Epic is a force of nature, and you have to come prepared.
Well, I'm riding next year. I'm doing the Epic on one of these Quebecer bikes, which weighs 108 kilograms. So I'm in good shape, probably.
Well, that'll be really good for the mechanics because they'll
the only
won't
difference
have to
is you won't have to pedal much, will you?
Well, you won't because it only lasts about 20 k's.
Neil, thanks very much for joining us, and yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of the Epic, and best of luck to Swift.
Great.
And I look forward to hopefully getting to ride one of the bikes one day.
Well, indeed you will.
There we go, time now for the Epic Energade moment, and the Absa Cape Epic dishing up some form of drama that happens out on the hills. And let's take a look now at today's Epic Energade moment.
Epic Energade Moments. Energade, the official sports drink supplier to the Absa Cape Epic.
All right, tomorrow is the fly through, and we're going to have a look at what the riders can look forward to, and what the riders can look forward to on tomorrow's stage 4 of the Absa Cape Epic. And as we were saying earlier to Carl and Urs, there's going to be a lot of single track. It's going to be a cross-country riders day tomorrow. So let's take a look at our fly through and see what is going to be happening on course.
Absa Cape Epic. It is by no means easy. It kicks off with a short section of tar, and then the climbing starts, almost immediately with Patat's Kloof. It summits at around the 12-kilometer mark at the Dimension Data men's hotspot, and with the climb being more or less on a well-surfaced dual track, it should make for an exciting sprint. You'll be rewarded with the Cool Runnings 2 single-track descent before reaching Water Point 1 at 17 kilometers. Then it's Vineyard Roads before the second climb of the day, Arp d'Huez. It's 29 switchbacks before being richly rewarded with the Route 66 descent. 31 kilometers sees Water Point 2, and then you'll head up the valley to the Velvenpass White Route, some flowing smooth single track. The last climb is steep, taking you to the Land Rover technical terrain section for the day, the Cheese Grater. From here, you will circle the valley on district and farm roads until Water Point 3 at 53 kilometers. There is still some magnificent riding to come. It'll be 3 tough climbs paired with equally rewarding single track descents, making the final 20 kilometers really worth it.
Lots to look forward to. Another big day in store for the riders tomorrow in stage 4 of the 2016 Absa Cape Epic. Time now for our celeb section, and we joined by Hannele Steyn, one of the last lioness. Hannele, welcome. Thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
I've got to ask you, how does it feel to be one of a small group of people that has ridden every single stage of every single Absa Cape Epic?
Now, Jeff, a lot of people in the last 2 days has asked me that question, and I'm thinking, and I can just, it's pure joy. It's an absolute honor for me. I mean, yesterday I told everyone that, you know, whether they wanted to hear it or not, I said, you know, this is my 100th stage. It is the 100th stage, but it's my 100th stage. And I worked out if today was the 101. That's sort of also a number. And then the finish will be awesome. And then I'll have to ride another 10 years to become like, as again, a number in the epic, you know. So no, an absolute honor. And I loved every minute of my 12 and a half epic so far.
And in that stage yesterday, that 100th stage, in your opinion, I mean, as you said, it was your 100th as well. Was it deserving? Is there any memory that stands out in your mind from yesterday?
Yes, this was actually my third fall in the epic, and I had to make something, you know, create a memory. So I bought a piece of land in Tilbach. So to do 13, complete 13 epics to have like a major crash, it was my hardest fall and my third fall in all of the 12 epics.
Brilliant. And you, of course, are also an age group world champion triathlon. So, I mean,
yes, it's so long ago, I don't think I can remember. I think they asked me about the epic, and I said, yeah, next time they must probably offer me a pension fund in the epic.
Fantastic. Your future? How long do you want to keep going?
Look, there's a kind of a very funny but a good competitiveness between me and the 3 lions. And I said, we'll see who's the last man or woman standing. So, but, you know, I don't only come back for that in this race. I really come back because I really, I don't know why, because it's very tough. And while you're doing it, you sort of, a lot of things go through your mind. Sometimes, like I say, nothing goes through your mind. Most of the times, nothing goes through your mind. But I come back because I really love this race. This race is kind of addictive, and you can see it. You either come and you do one and you never come back, or you see the guys just coming back and coming back for more.
I've got to ask you, you've been a champion at this race, and now you're racing with an amateur lady who you've been coaching. What does it feel like from going, as Carl Plott would say, full gas to going to no gas?
Paul, that's been I call it my life lesson, and becoming and changing from a very selfish pro rider to really realize what it's like if you give your best. Because my riding partner has also become a very good friend. And I think I told you earlier today, at one stage I was thinking to myself, I've never gone so slow in an epic. And then I was thinking at the same time, I'm sure she's never gone so fast in a race. And that puts it in perspective, because it's very relative, slow and fast. So for me, it's a different kind of epic, but it's a journey. To come this way, and then in my 100th stage to ride the slowest I've ever ridden, but not saying that in a bad way. It's also in a good way, you know, to put back in the sport a little bit, because for her it's a beautiful experience, and we've started this journey about a year ago, and she's changed her whole life. And for me, it will be the greatest feeling to cross that finish line with my friend Anneke. Really, she's really, for a year, she's worked very, very hard.
And Hannele, you know, racing for the podium, the Absa Cape Epic goes through the most beautiful scenery in the world. I mean, I think that what brings all of us back.
Yes.
When you race for the podium, you see nothing. What has it been like? Have you looked around you now? And
I have, Paul, and it's completely different, because I actually, you know, she had to start reminding me, look how beautiful the view. And then my first thought was, don't look, just ride. And then I realized, like, wow, this is actually such an amazing experience and such an amazing honor to see all these places where we are riding. I mean, I don't know how many people in their whole lives will ever see the places we see. And I'm realizing this year. So for me, it's really changed a lot within myself. And to really see or realize what this race is about winning. for the top guys, and we must create heroes, and it's fantastic to watch the racing and to be excited by it. But if you look at how few of the riders are racing for that podium in the top 10 and the top 50, then you realize how many other people are here to enjoy, to look at the view, to experience, to hate it, to love it. And I know that there's not one that won't love it when they cross that line.
I know, looking at the ladies racing at the moment, talking about racing for the podium, arguably 2016, in my opinion, certainly is the most exciting year. It's the closest racing we've seen in amongst the group of the top riders.
Jeff, it's fantastic to see. I said before this epic, I said I can't wait to see what's going to happen and to see such a close race. I mean, it changes the dynamics of this women's race completely, and starting in the separate block creates. I'm starting there. It's like sort of a no-brainer to start there, even though you're not racing, because you're out of that mass start. And to see the tactics, because I raced it when it was still a mass start, and to see how they're actually playing a bit of a tactical race, it's amazing to see. And I hope it really spurs the women on across the world to come and do this race, the top ladies. And I really hope that this journey with my friend that I'm riding with will really encourage women that think the epic is not for them. They can never do something like this. Because this woman, a year ago, she couldn't ride up a pavement. She asked me to show her how to ride up a pavement with a mountain bike. And it's brought a whole life change to her life. And then to see the woman now just getting, it's just more and more given to the women as well, the equal prize money, the separate start block, to see the close racing. It means it's growing and there's competition, and it's fantastic to see. It was always about the men, because there was, a winning ladies team, and then about an hour, not any disrespect, but there was few teams, and now the racing has become really something to watch. It's fantastic. For me as a woman, incredible.
I've got to ask you a question. Your partner, Anke Viljoen, is getting married 2 weeks after the epic. This is a hard race. Is she going to be able to walk up the aisle?
I don't know, but I got my instructions. She's not allowed to get tan marks. I said to forget about that one. You can put so much blocker on, you're going to have the tan marks. And no bruising. And I think we already, past that point as well, because her leg's really full of blue marks. I just need to get her to the finish line alive and with a little bit of energy left. I think her husband-to-be will ask for a lot of energy, but it's quite a date to choose, eh?
And I want to ask you, how do you feel seeing the women getting the same prize money as men? When you were racing, you got the handout literally, and now we're getting into the big league thanks to Cecil.
Well, for me, it's really amazing, because I remember my first prize it's very special, I still have it, was a picture drawn by a school kid. And that was my prize. And then obviously my medal. And I know people say, yeah, but there's not that many women in the race, so why should there be equal prize money? But to grow in numbers, that's already a good incentive. But also, if you look at their results, the top women, why not? I mean, they're up there in the top, sometimes in the top 30, sometimes even higher up. And for them, it's just as hard as for anyone. So it's not the woman that's racing. We can't, punish them because there's no numbers. Because yourself, they pedal every single pedal stroke. They go through all these hardships, and if their results look like they're looking, I think it's an amazing thing, and I wish I was 30 years younger.
Hannele, thanks very much for joining us, and best of luck for tomorrow and for the rest of the epic. And and long may we see you out there on the dusty hills.
Thank you very much, Jeff. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the finish line.
Super. All right. Speaking about finish lines, just a quick look. Spectator points tomorrow, Paul. It's a lot of spectator points for tomorrow's stage. Klein Valley, Doelhof, where they were this morning, a beautiful area. Your one, you're going to be at Valbedacht, top restaurant there. You're obviously looking forward to the day.
No, I am. But I've got to tell you, I'd love to get into the restaurant because I like my food and have a glass of wine, but you don't have much time out there. The excitement grips you, especially when the leaders come through and when the backmarkers come through. Emotionally, you actually want to get up and help them in any way you can, physically or emotionally. So every day is different on the Absa Cape Epic, and that's what makes us come back for it.
Brilliant. Well, if you look at the screen now, we've just had some finish line visuals. Some of the warriors are still coming in, and from inside 8 Days of Courage on this stage 3 from a very, very hot Wellington. That's it until tomorrow. Please join us again, 4:30 to 5:15 from me, Jeff Aliff, and from my colleague, Paul Belstar.
It's been great.
It's been great. Have a beautiful evening, and we'll chat to you tomorrow.